Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All go to Srila Prabhupada. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, Mataji, we can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we are starting a new chapter today, pure devotional service, the change in the heart. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 1. Shri Sukha Uvacha. Evam etan nigaditam Pristavan yadbhavan mama Nrinam yan mriyamananam Manusyeshu manishinam.
Translation. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, as you have inquired from me as to the duty of the intelligent man, who is the threshold of death, so I have answered you.
Text 2 to 7. Brahma varchasa kamastu yajeta brahmana patim Indram indriya kamastu praja kamaha prajapatim Devin mayamstu shri kamas tejas kamo vibhavasum vasu kamo vasun ridhan Viryana kamo atha viryavan Anadya kamastu tadipim Swarga kamo aditehe sutan Vishvan devan raja kamaho Sadhyan samsadako visham Ayush kamo ashvinyo devo Pushti kama ilam yajed Pratishtha kamaha purusho Hridasi loka mataram Rupa bhikamo gandharvan Stri kamo apsara urvashin Adhipatya kamaha svabesam Yajeta paramestinam Yajnam yajet yasas kamaha Kosha kamaha prachetasam Vidya kama sugirisham Dampatyartha umam satim.
Scroll up, please. Hare Krishna. The one who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma or Brahaspati, the learned priest. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king, Indra, and one who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitors called the Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. One desiring to be very powerful should worship fire, and one who aspires only after money should worship the Vasus. One should worship the Rudra incarnations of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero. One who wants a large stock of grains should worship Aditi. One who desires to attain the heavenly planets should worship the sons of Aditi. One who desires a worldly kingdom should worship Vishwadeva, and one who wants to be popular with a general mass of population should worship the Sadhya demigod. One who desires a long span of life should worship the demigods known as the Ashwini Kumaras, and the person desiring a strongly built body should worship the earth. One who desires stability in his post should worship the horizon and the earth combined. One who desires to be beautiful should worship the beautiful resident of the Gandharva planet. And one who desires a good wife should worship the Apsaras and the Urvashi society girls of the heavenly kingdom. One who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma, the head of the universe. One who desires tangible fame should worship the personality of Godhead. And one who desires a good bank balance should worship the demigod Varuna. If one desires to be greatly learned man, he should worship Lord Shiva. And if one desires a good material relation, he should worship the chaste goddess Uma and wife of Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna.
Text 8. Dharmata uttama slokam santuhu sanvan pritin yajet raksha kamaha punya janan ojas kamo marud ganan.
One should worship Lord Vishnu
Recording in progress.
one should worship or his devotee for spiritual advancement in knowledge and for protection of the heredity and advancement of dynasty. One should worship the various demigods. Hare Krishna.
Text 9. Raja kamo manum devan niritim svabhicharan yajet kama kamo yajet somam akamaha purusham param.
One who desires domination over a kingdom or an empire should worship the Manus. One who desires victory over an enemy should worship the demons. One who desires sense gratification should worship the moon. But one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Text 10. Akamaha sarva kamo va moksha kama udharadhihi vivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
A person who has broader intelligence, whether to be full of all material desires without any material desire or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead.
Text 11. Etavaneva yajatam iha nishreya sudayah bhagavati achalo bhavo yad bhagavata sangatah.
All the different kinds of worshippers of the demigods can attain the highest perfectional benediction, which is the spontaneous attraction, unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord.
Text 12. Jnanam yada pratinivita gunor michakram atma prasada uttayatra gune swasangah kaivalya samata patasvatha bhakti yogah kunivrito hari kathashu ratim na kuryat.
Transcendental knowledge in relation with the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and the whirlpools of the material modes. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment, and being transcendental, it is approved by authorities who could fail to be attracted.
Text 13. Sonaka uvacha iti abhivyaharitam raja nisamya bharatar sabha kimanyat pristavan bhuyo vaya sakim rishim kavim.
Sunaka said, the son of the Vyasadeva, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, was the highly learned sage and was able to describe things in a poetic manner. What did Maharaja Parikshit again inquire from him after hearing all that he had said.
Text 14. Etak shushrusatam vidvan sutano arhasi bhasitum katha hari kathudharakaha sutam suyusadi sidhuvam.
O learned Sutta Goswami, please continue to explain such topics to us because we are all eager to hear. Besides that, topics which result in the discussion of the Lord Hari should certainly be discussed in the assembly of devotees.
Text 15. Savai bhagavato raja pandaveyu maharatah bala kridana kaihi kridan krishna kridam ya adahda.
Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of the Pandavas, was from his very childhood a great devotee of the Lord. Even while playing with dolls, he used to worship Lord Krishna by imitating the worship of the family deity.
Text 16. Vaiyasakhischa bhagavan vasudeva parayanah urugaya gunodharaha sutam syurhi samagame.
Sukdev Goswami, the son of the Vyasadeva, was also full in transcendental knowledge and was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, son of Vasudeva. So there must have been discussion of Lord Krishna, who is glorified by great philosophers and in the company of the great devotees.
Text 17. Ayur harati vai pumsam udhyan astam chayan aso tasyarthayat kshano nita uttama sloke vartaya.
Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life for everyone, except one who utilizes by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead.
Text 18. Saravaha kim na jivanti bhastraha kim na swasanchita na khadanti na mehanti kim grame pasavo apare.
Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All round us, do the beasts not eat and discharge semen?
Text 19. Swavid varahustra karaihi samstutaha purusha pashuhu nayat karna patho peto jatu nama gadagrajaha.
Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praises those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna, the deliverer from evils.
Text 20. Bile baturu krama vikrama manye nasrinvataha karna pute narasya jivasati dardurite vasuta nacho pagayati urugaya gataha.
One who has not listened to the message about the powers and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and a tongue like the tongue of a frog.
Text 21. Bharaha param patakiriti justam apyuttamanganam name mukundam tavo karo nakurute saparyam harer lasat kanchana kankanova.
The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti, freedom, and the hands, through decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead Hari.
Text 22. Barhaite tinayane naranam lingani visnurna nirukshatu ye ado nrinam to druma janma bhajo chitrani nanu bhajatu harelju.
The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks.
Text 23. Jivan chavo bhagavatāṅ na jatu martyo abhilabheta yastu Shri Vishnu padya manujastulasyaha swasan chavo yastu na veda gandham.
The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body, and the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing.
Text 24. Tadasma saram hridayam batedam yad kriyamanir hari mamadheyehi na vikriye tata yada vikaro netra jalam gatra ruheshu harshaha.
Certainly, that heart is steel framed, which is, in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place. Tears fill the eyes and the hairs stand out on end.
Text 25. Athabhidhehi angamano nukulam prabhasase bhagavata pradhanaha yada havaya sakiratma vidya visarado nripatim sadhu prishtaha.
O Sutta Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please therefore explain this to us, as it was spoken by the great devotee Sukdeva Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to Maharaja Parikshit upon being asked. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second chapter, of the second canto, third chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Pure Devotional Service, the Change in Heart. Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Haribol.
Thank you, Vanita Mataji. Thank you, Indaleka Mataji. Very nice recitation. Such a beautiful chapter. So I would welcome dear devotees to tonight's chat session. Tonight we will be, I think, beginning a new chapter, chapter number 3 of the second canto, entitled Pure Devotional Service, the Change of Heart. Really, really beautiful chapter. So we'll be discussing verses 1 to 7 today. Before we do so, let's chant the Mangala Charanam prayers. Please feel free to join in, be unmuted mics. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutan Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Shakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Astacha Deshatarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we'll read text 1 to 7. Text number 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evametan Nigaditam Prishtabhan Yad Bhavan Mama Nirnamyan Mriya Vananam Manushyeshu Manishinam. Shri Shuka Uvacha, Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Evam, so, etad, all these, Nigaditam answered, Prishtavan, as you inquired, Yat what, Bhavan, your good self, Mama, unto me, Nirnam, of the human being, Yat one, Mriya Mananam, on the threshold of death, Vanus Yeshu, among the human beings, Manisinam, of the intelligent men. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. You can see the verse on the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, as you have inquired from me as to the duty of the intelligent man who is on the threshold of death, so I have answered you. Purport. In human society all over the world, there are millions and billions of men and women, and almost all of them are less intelligent because they have very little knowledge of spirit soul. Almost all of them have a wrong conception of life, for they identify themselves with the gross and subtle material bodies, which they are not, in fact. They may be situated in different high and low positions in the estimation of human society, but one should know definitely that unless one inquires about his own self beyond the body and mind, all his activities in human life are total failures. Therefore, out of thousands and thousands of men, one may inquire about his spirit self and thus consult the revealed scriptures like Vedanta Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. But in spite of reading and hearing such scriptures, unless one is in touch with the realized spiritual master, he cannot actually realize the real nature of self, etc. And out of thousands and hundreds of thousands of men, someone may know what Lord Krishna is, in fact. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 21:22 to 123, it is said that Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, prepared the Vedic literatures in the incarnation of Vyasadeva for reading by the intelligent class of men in a human society, which is almost totally forgetful of the genuine relationship with Krishna. Even such an intelligent class of men may be forgetful in their relationship with the Lord. The whole Bhakti Yoga process is therefore a revival of the lost relation. This revival is possible in the human form of life, which is obtained only out of the evolutionary cycle of 8,400,000 species of life. The intelligent class of human being must take a serious note of this opportunity. Not all human beings are intelligent, so the importance of human life is not always understood. Therefore, manisinam, meaning thoughtful. Meaning thoughtful is particularly used here. A manisinam person like Maharaj Parikshit must therefore take to the lotus feet of Krishna and fully engage himself in devotional service, hearing, chanting, etc. of the holy name and pastimes of the Lord, which are all Hari Katamrita. This action is especially recommended when one is preparing for death. So Shukadev Goswami is telling Maharaj Parikshit that you have inquired from me as to the duty of the intelligent man. He is on the threshold of death, so I've answered you. So Shukadev Goswami had answered to Parikshit Maharaj that the duty of one who is about to die is to always hear and chant about Lord Krishna. This is the main duty. First, he started off by explaining what one shouldn't be chanted, heard, and remembered. If you remember in the first chapter, that's the Kriya Medi. And then he said the result of hearing Bhagavatam and constant chanting of the Lord's holy name. And when intelligent people get such an instruction from a bona fide spiritual master, they embrace it. But Srila Prabhupada is pointing out in the purport how rare it is. And today I was listening to a lecture by Srila Prabhupada, and he said 99.9% of the people, they cannot get it. They cannot get it. But a small proportion of the people, when they hear, then they take to Krishna consciousness. They take to hearing about Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this verse here, Shukadev Goswami is praising Maharaj Parikshit. He said, Manisinam, of the intelligent men. He's saying, Parikshit Maharaj, you are very intelligent because you've received the instruction and you're following it. And what is the instruction? Is to hear about Krishna. And that is very rare. And Prabhupada is making that point repeatedly in the purport. How rare such a person is. Actually, we cannot consider ourselves intelligent. We just happened by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada to come in the contact with these society. Prabhupada has created our good fortune, and by this good fortune that Srila Prabhupada has created, we have become intelligent. Actually, real intelligence means, as Srila Narottam Das Thakur says real intelligence is to surrender to the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master, and simply to hear. That is, in fact, the only intelligence. In the verse describing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, Krishna Vanam Tvisha Krishna Sangopangas Pashadam Yagnai Sankitam Priya Yajanti He Sumedashaha. That in this age of Kali, one's intelligence is judged by following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone who takes up the following of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are intelligent. So the next verses actually is packed in 6 verses here. So let's read it. It's very interesting. Brahma Varshasa Kamashtu Yajeta Brahmana Patim Indram Indriya Kamastu Praja Kamaha Prajapatim Devi Mayam to Krish Sri Kramas Tejos Kamo Vibha Visam Vasu Kamo Vasum Rudran Virya Kamo Ta Viryavan Anadya Kamastu Aditim Sarva Kamo Dite Sutan Vishwan Devan Raja Kamaha Sadyan Samsadako Vishwa Visam Ayus Kamo Avidino Devo Pushti Kama Ilam Yajet Pratishta Kamaha Purusho Rodasi Loka Mataro Rupa Bikamo Gandharvan Shri Kamopshara Urvasim Adipatya Kamam Sarvesham Yajeta Parameshtitani Parameshtinam Yagnam Yajet Yashash Kamaha Kosha Kama Prachetasam Vidya Kamastu Girisam Dampatyartha Umam Satim. I won't do the synonym. Oh, let's do. Why skip anything? Brahma, the absolute. Varchasa, effulgence. Kamaha, too, but one who desires in this way. Yajeta, do worship. Brahmana of the Vedas. Patim, the master. Indram, the king of heaven. Indriya Kama, too, but one who desires strong sense organs. Prajakama, one who desires many offspring. Prajapatim, the Prajapatims. Devim, the goddess. Mayam, onto the mistress of the material world, too, but Shri Kamaha, one who desires beauty. Tejaha, power, Kamaha, one who so desires. Vibhavusam, the fire god. Vasu Kamaha, one who wants wealth. Vasum, the Vasu demigods. Rudran, the Rudra expansions of Lord Shiva. Virya Kamaha, one who wants to be very strongly built. Atha, therefore, Viryavan, the most powerful. Ana Adya, grains. Kamaha, one who desires. 2, but Aditam, Aditi, mother of the demigods. Swarga, heaven. Kamaha, so desiring. Adite Sutan, the sons of Aditi. Vishvan, Vishvadevam. Devan, demigods. Raja, Kamaha, those who hanker for kingdoms. Sadyan, the Saja, demigods. Samshadhaka, who fulfills the wishes. Visham, the mercantile community. Ayur Kamaha, the desirous of long life. Ashvino, the 2 demigods known as the Ashvini brothers. Devo, the 2 demigods. Pushti Kamaha, one who desires a strongly built body. Ilam, the earth. Yajet, must worship. Pratishta Kamaha, one who desires good fame or stability in the post. Purusha, such men. Rodhasi, the horizon. Loka, Mataro, and the earth. Rupa, beauty. Abhikamaha, positively aspiring for. Gandharvan, the residents of the Gandharva planet who are very beautiful and expert in singing. Shri Kamaha, one who desires a good wife. Apsara, Urvasim, the society girls of the heavenly planets. Adipatya kamaha, one who desires to dominate others. Sarvesham, everyone. Yajeta, must worship. Parameshtinam, Brahma, the head of the universe. Yagyam, the personality of Godhead. Yajet, must worship. Yasaha kamaha, one who desires to be famous. Kosha kamaha, one who desires a good bank balance. Prachetasam, the treasurer of heaven, known as Varuna. Vidya kama too, but one who desires education. Girisam, the Lord of the Himalayas, Lord Shiva. Dhampatya ataha, and for conjugal love, Uman Satim, the chaste wife of Lord Shiva, known as Uma. Translation. One who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma or Brahma, Brihaspati, the learned priest. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king Indra. And one who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitors called the Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. One desiring to be very powerful should worship fire. And one who aspires only after money, worship the Vasus. One should worship of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero. One who wants a large stock of grains should worship Aditi. One who desires to attain the heavenly planets should worship the sons of Aditi. One who desires a worldly kingdom should worship Vishvadev. And one who wants to be popular with the general mass of population should worship the Shas, Sadhya demigod. One who desires a long span of life should worship the demigods known as the Ashwini Kumaras. And a person desiring a strongly built body should worship the earth. One who desires stability in his post should worship the horizon and the earth combined. One who desires to be beautiful should worship the beautiful residents of the Gandharva planet. And one who desires a good wife should worship the Apsaras and the Urvasi society girls of the heavenly kingdom. One who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma, the head of the universe. One who desires tangible fame should worship the personality of Godhead. And one who desires a good bank balance should worship the demigod Varuna. If one desires to be a greatly learned man, he should worship Shiva. And if one desires good marital relation, he should worship the chaste goddess Uma, wife of Lord Shiva. Would anyone like to read the purport?
Can I try, Vrindavan Chandra?
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
Thank you very much. There are different modes of worship for different persons desiring success in particular subjects. The conditioned soul living within the purview of the material world cannot be an expert in every type of materially enjoyable asset, but one can have considerable influence over a particular matter by worshipping a particular demigod, as mentioned above. Ravana was made very powerful man by worshipping Lord Shiva, and he used to offer severed heads to please Lord Shiva. He became so powerful by the grace of Lord Shiva that all the demigods were afraid of him, until at last, that last challenge, the personality of Godhead Sri Chandra, and thus ruined himself. In other words, all such persons who aspire after gaining some of all material objects of enjoyment or the gross materialistic person are on the whole less intelligent, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:20. It is said that there are those who are bereft of all good sense, or those whose intelligence is withdrawn by the deluding energy of Maya, aspire to achieve all sorts of material enjoyment in life by pleasing the various demigods, or by advancing in material civilization under the heading of scientific progress. The real problem of life in the material world is to solve the question of birth and death, old age and disease. No one wants to change this birthright. No one wants to meet death. No one wants to be old or invalid, and no one wants to diseases. But these problems are solved neither by the grace of any demigod nor by the so-called advancement in the material science. In the Bhagavad Gita as well as in the Srimad Bhagavatam, such less intelligent persons have been described as devoid of all good sense. Shukadev Goswami says that out of 8,400,000 species of living entity, the human form of life is rare and valuable. And out of those rare human beings, those who are conscious of the material problems are rare still, and the still more rare persons are those who are conscious of the value of Srimad Bhagavatam, which contains the messages of the Lord and his pure devotees. Death is inevitable for everyone, intelligent or foolish. But Parikshit Maharaj has been addressed by the Goswami as the Manisi, or the man highly developed mind, because at the time of death he left all the material enjoyment and completely surrendered unto the lotus feet of Lord by hearing his message from the from the right person, Shukadev Goswami. But as aspirations of material enjoyment by endeavoring persons are condemned. Such aspirations are sometimes like intoxication of the degraded human society. Intelligent persons should try to avoid this aspiration and seek instead the permanent life by returning home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Palika Mataji. So there is one word that is repeated again and again and again and again in these verses. And that word is kama. What does kama mean? Kama means lust. Prabhupada was listening to Srila Prabhupada speak on 2 different occasions on this verse. Prabhupada says, in this material world, there is only lust. There is no prema. And in the spiritual world, there is only prema, no lust. So the conditioned souls in this material world have so many lusty desires. And in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives the definition of lust and prema. He said, lust means to serve one's own senses, and prema means to serve the senses of Krishna. So in this material world, people are not interested in serving the senses of Krishna. Everyone is looking after, is pursuing, satisfying their own lust, the karma. And therefore, we have a long menu in this verse. Long menu. So many different lusty desires the living entities have, both gross and subtle. And to satisfy those desires, the Vedas say we should approach different demigods. But these lusty desires cannot satisfy the soul. Actually, the whole process of Krishna consciousness is to transform our consciousness. from a consciousness based on satisfying our own desires, our own lusty desires, to come to the point where we desire only to serve Krishna's senses. And for most of us, that is a journey. It's largely a journey of transformation, a journey of purification to become free of this. When the sages of Naimisharanya were asked Sutta Goswami, what is the ultimate good for all people? He said, Savai Pumsa Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Adokshaje Ahaitukiya Pratyata Yayatma Suprasidati. Yayatma Suprasidati. In order to fully satisfy the soul, one has to render devotional service. And that devotional service should be aheituki apratihata. It should be unmotivated and uninterrupted. There are so many desires. And actually, Prabhupada says something interesting in the beginning of this purport. He says, you may have many desires, but it's not possible for us to worship all of these demigods, because even worshiping one of these demigods takes so much of effort. For example, Ravana, he wanted to be a very powerful person. He worshipped Lord Shiva. But each of these demigods, they have their own method of worship. So even if we want to satisfy our desires, we can only go in one direction for one demigod, because sometimes we worship more than one demigod, we upset the other demigod. Like Lord Indra. The Prabhupada says one should worship to be very powerful in sex life. If one worships one Indra and then one worships someone else, he becomes very angry. We know from the Govardhan Leela, the Lord Indra, he was being worshipped by the Rajavasis. And when Krishna told him, don't worship Lord Indra, worship Govardhan Hill, he became very upset. So any attempt on the path of karma, lust, is just fraught with difficulty and impossible to satisfy the soul. Impossible. Can never satisfy. So one can worship all of these demigods, and in the purport, Prabhupada quotes this verse from Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, Kamais tastai ritagyana prapajanti anya devata tam niyamam hastaya prakritya niyata swaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulation of worship according to their own natures. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, such people who follow any of the recommended ways for sense gratification, they are less intelligent. Kamais tastai, by desires. They have been deprived of their intelligence by desires. And in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, as long as one has karma, desires for sense gratification, one can never be peaceful. The karmis are not peaceful because they are desiring sense gratification. The jnanis are not peaceful because they're desiring liberation. The yogis are not peaceful because they are desiring siddhis. It is only the devotees can become peaceful, because it's only the devotees who have no desires for their own self but are full of desires for pleasing Lord Krishna. And Bhagavatam, that's why Srila Shukadev Goswami. There are many, many different classes of people that are in the audience. And he is going to point out very, very clearly in this purport that it is only devotional service to Krishna, the Lord within the heart, that can satisfy us. Lust cannot. So on the process of bhakti yoga, we are gradually trying to become free from all traces of lust. Prabhupada says we should become completely pure because Krishna is completely pure. To approach the completely pure, we have to be pure. Once Srila Prabhupada's Jayapataka Maharaj speaks on this. Once Prabhupada is saying, you have to become completely pure, free of all material desires. Then only you can go back to Krishna. And then Prabhupada saw the devotees were crestfallen. They were all thinking to us, oh, no hope for us. And Prabhupada said, okay, 90% pure. And still the devotees thinking 90% pure. And Prabhupada said, okay, 80%. Then the devotees was, Prabhupada said, okay, 75% bus. Basically what Prabhupada was saying, Prabhupada was not recommending that we keep lusty desires. So Prabhupada had this confidence that devotional service is so powerful. If we progress 75% on the path of devotional service, that 75% of devotional service is so powerful, it will burn away all lusty desires. All lusty desires. In the purport, Prabhupada also included here is the desire for merging into impersonal Brahmajyoti. That is also karma. As it said here, Varchasa karma. The desire to mix with the Supreme Personality of God, because that's still personal desire, lusty desire. And only when we become completely pure, yayatma suprasidati, then only we will become satisfied, will become peaceful, will be happy. None of those recommended paths of worship in this verse can make happy. And Shukadev Goswami will make that very, very, very clear in this chapter. So we've gone over time. I'll stop here. There's so much we can speak, but we'll pause here. We'll take any reflections, realizations anyone has. Okay, I was reading this verse. I was thinking about everyone who comes to this chat. The Prabhupada says here, rarer still, and the still more rare persons are those who are conscious of the value of Srimad Bhagavatam, which contains the messages of the Lord and his pure devotees. And I was just thinking how rare all of you are. So rare. You're conscious of the value of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Rarest still, Prabhupada says. Super intelligent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vrindavan, Chandra Prabhu. Thank you very much for your class. What I understand from this purport and your explanation, it's very, Srila Prabhupada made it very clear for us what we should do and what we shouldn't do. Why? Because before we were so used to, before the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, we used to worship so many demigods. Still people do who are not in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam. in India is full. You know, nobody knows Srimad Bhagavatam. I mean, only until Srila Prabhupada written. Everybody worship demigod because everybody wants to satisfy their senses. So different demigods for different, things. But Srila Prabhupada's knowledge has given us so much, uplift of, why we shouldn't. Because if we are asking for all the material gain, we're never going to go, never going to get purified, never going to go back to the spiritual world. At least, he has given us so much hope, so much knowledge that if we study, if we discuss Srimad Bhagavatam on a daily basis here, and especially from Srila Prabhupada and his followers, our heart will get purified. And that way we can one day have the opportunity maybe to go to the spiritual world. But at least we have started, joining the classes, listening to and attending all the other classes, which will help our consciousness. This is the most important thing, our consciousness. Consciousness is the most important thing to be elevated, to purified. So we're very fortunate by Srila Prabhupada's mercy to come to these groups and reading the Bhagavatam. So I think Srila Prabhupada made it very clear, and you also, by your explanation, you made us very clear to understand this fact that we need to be more serious, more conscious about what we are learning and how we are practicing this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So that's my understanding. Hare Krishna and Vrindavan, Chandra.
Yeah, today sorry.
Thank your class in last week, it was so wonderful. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, it was just absolutely, I was listening online. It was so wonderful, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you. You spoke in so much detail, and it was so wonderful. So you got so much knowledge, Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. We're very fortunate. Thank you so much.
Today I was walking from the office, and I went into the tube, and I traveled on the tube, and all the while I was just listening. I had this noise cancelling headphones. All I could hear was Prabhupada's voice.
Yes.
And every word of Prabhupada was just speaking about pure devotional service.
So much.
He was just giving us the purest, and he said, my Guru Maharaj never compromised, and I will never compromise. He says, in the entire world, we are giving anything that falls short of pure devotional service, we reject. We only give the pure. And I had this distinct feeling and realization about what Prabhupada is giving us, the purest form, the only form of religion and worship that can satisfy us. The only thing, he was convinced, Srila Prabhupada, this is the only thing that can satisfy. Anything that falls short, anything that has the slightest tinge of karma will not make us happy. And Prabhupada is giving us that which can make us happy. It's unbelievable. We're just so grateful to Prabhupada. Sailesh Prabhu, you have your hand raised.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for a wonderful class. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada is completely and absolutely uncompromising with respect to his preaching style, and the way he wanted everyone to preach was everything has to be clear-cut and brought back to Krishna. The philosophy has to be absolutely clear-cut. He was absolutely not one for this so-called bridge preaching styles that are quite prevalent today in ISKCON. He absolutely uncompromisingly would always preach core philosophy and not compromise that in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, it's nice. So thank you. If I can lower the tones dramatically by asking a completely mundane and irrelevant question to Bhakti for us. I'm just curious, for the karmis at least, and perhaps my own rather demonic nature, why is it there are certain inconsistencies in how Sukadeva Goswami recommends who should be worshipped compared to what is practiced generally in Karmakanda. So it's like, for instance, for wealth, I mean, generally speaking, we've been brought up that for wealth, one worships Lakshmi Devi. For, so knowledge, one worships Saraswati. But here, different demigods are nominated as being the figureheads for that particular. I'm just wondering what, not that it's of any relevance to us in the part of Bhakti, but I'm just wondering how we reconcile that kind of inconsistency with other scriptural recommendations in the Vedas.
You mean like sometimes in the Vedas it says you should worship this demigod for this desire, and in another place it says another demigod for that desire.
Yeah. I mean, like for instance, I mean, generally speaking, it's for Lakshmi, for wealth, one worships Lakshmi is what we've been brought up with as in a Hindu sort of background. One wants knowledge, one worships Saraswati. But here, different demigods are nominated. I'm just wondering how, I mean, as I said, it's completely irrelevant for us as devotees, but I'm just curious.
The only way I could think, there's probably some subtleties in the desire. There's so many different shades of colors. So all I can think is maybe there's some overlapping in the desires, or there's a particular flavor of a particular type of desire. Like, for example, wealth. Maybe there's different shades of wealth or different shades of education, and there's different demigods, but maybe I'm speculating, so I don't know. All we can say is Shukadev Goswami.
My apologies. As I said, I'm lowering it to completely irrelevant subject matter. Has no value and has no benefit to us to go and talk about these subjects in any way, shape, or form. So my apologies for lowering the tone.
Yeah, just, but there are subtleties in our consciousness sometimes. We all know, we'd never dare even consider worshipping any of the demigods. We respect them, but Krishna, we only pray and worship Krishna.
I just wonder if it is somebody worship, like, to get some money from Lakshmi, but because we can't ask anything material to Krishna. I mean, to serve Krishna, if we use that, if we do, by worshipping Lakshmi, if we do get the money, we will serve Krishna with that, Lakshmi. That way, is it okay? Or why was it in Veda, all these things? Is it just part of purification, at least,
the idea was, if people, instead of being an atheist and say, I'll get rid of this by my own power, you recognize a higher power.
Yes.
You submit to the higher power, then that was Vyasadev's idea. Someone will say, okay, I want to become powerful in certain things, so I'll worship Indra.
Yeah.
Then you think to yourself, but Indra also worships. And then gradually you land up with Krishna.
That's what I thought, that is by step, at least.
Yes.
If you're completely atheist, at least do something for you to be kind of to be connected, at least to demigod. They will take you to Krishna. So no, you don't need to worship me, just go to that. They might give you that consciousness.
Yes.
That's what my understanding is.
Yes. I was listening to a lecture by Radhanath Swami today too. He was saying the same thing. One devotee asked Prabhupada, who is better, the demigod worshippers or others? Prabhupada said the demigod worshippers are better because they got a better chance of connecting with Krishna. But they get diverted.
But now Radhanashami has got Ganesh in what's that, eco village, because that Ganesh Murthy wasn't a kind of a not so how do you to have his appearance wasn't so they have installed Ganesh in there, but that Ganesh has got I think hood, Sheshnag hoods on the head, because Ganesh is very pure devotee.
Yeah, even
So
Ganesh, if you worship him in the proper mode,
yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe that is
I think we read the verses later, whether one is Akama, Sarvakama, Mokshakama, Udaradi. I think one of the verses we read today where it is said, even if you have full of desires or you have no desires, still worship Krishna. All right, thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
All glories to your service, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyascha.
Sindhubhyeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Vaishnav
Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Go Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a nice class.
Thank you, Prabhuji.